Hi everyone, this is Algebra 1 Lesson 4 and this is another review lesson. This lesson covers a whole bunch of stuff, so it might be a little bit longer. It covers review of arithmetic, and that's pretty much it. Alright, so first of all, we'll get some basic ideas here, some terms, some definitions. A number is an idea. A numeral is a symbol or collection of symbols that we use to express the idea of a particular number. So remember, a number is just an idea, okay? So let's say that we've got 3 squares, right? These are the idea of 3. We've got 3 circles, right? Those are all the number 3. Those represent the number 3. Let me try to do some triangles. See if it'll morph them into triangles for me. Worked on a couple of them. Okay, 3 triangles. So this means 3, and that means 3, and that means 3. The numeral or symbol that we use to represent that is 3. Okay, so the symbol that we use to represent the idea is called a numeral. The number is what it means. The system of numbers that we use is called the decimal system, and it was invented by the Hindus of India. I think that's on a question somewhere in your homework. It may ask you about that. What is our system of numbers called? The decimal system. Who is it invented by? The Hindus. They passed it to the Arabs and finally made its way to Europe around 1200 AD. We call the numbers that we use to count objects the natural numbers or counting numbers. So that's going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A positive real number is any number that can be used to describe a physical distance greater than 0. So that could include fractions, so like 3.5 or 6.297, right? Those would be real positive numbers. Okay, and then on the other end, we're going to have our negative numbers. In the middle, we've got 0. 0 isn't positive or negative. So like if we draw a number line here, okay, we're going to have 0 in the middle, and our positive numbers go that way. Okay, and then every positive number has a negative counterpart. So, negative 1, a positive 1 has a negative 1. Positive 2 has a negative 2. Positive 3 has a negative 3. And those are called negative real numbers. And if we write a numeral with no sign, it's positive. Okay? All right. So using a number line, so we can use a number line to demonstrate where numbers are compared to each other. So if we wanted to find the distance between positive 2 and negative 2, we could mark both of those, and then we could count how many. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it would be 4 spaces between positive 2 and negative 2. All right, multiplication and division of fractions. You guys should already know how to do this. So on this one, multiplying, super duper easy. All we do is multiply across the top and the bottom. 7 times 4 is 28, and 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, so that first one is 28 over 15. Now we're going to reduce that because this is an improper fraction. That means it's worth more than one whole. 15 fifteenths is one whole. So how many fifteenths do we have in there? We have 1. And then how many would we have left over? An easy way to do this is 28 divided by 15. You take your top and you divide it by your bottom. Goes one time, and then we subtract. And we have 13 left over. So that would be 13 fifteenths. Okay, super easy. And like I said, this should be reviewed. You should already know how to do this. All right, when we divide, we're going to have to flip and multiply our second fraction. Okay, so we're going to write 4 over 3. This one stays the same. Our first one stays the same. The second one is the one we flip. So we're going to do times 8 over 15. So we flip that second one. Then we multiply. 8 times 4 is 32. And 3 times 15 is 45. And that won't reduce at all. That's the answer, 32 over 45. All right, sometimes we can reduce our fraction before we multiply. So I'll do it the normal way first. So 7 times 30 would be 3 times 7, 210. And then 9 times 3 is 27. And these are both divisible by 3. So if I said 210 divided by 3, 3 times 7 is 21. It would be 70. And then 9. Right, 70 over 9. If I did divided by 3 and divided by 3. So that reduced my fraction. But I can reduce before I multiply, and it's a whole lot easier. So to do that, I can cancel. So anything that's diagonal from each other, I can cancel. So this 3, it has to be diagonal, like that way or that way, okay? So this 3 can cancel out that 30. You're looking for common factors. So 3 and 30 both have 3 as a factor. How many 3's are in 30? 10. How many 3's are in 3? 1. So I just canceled those. Now I can just say 7 times 10 is 70, and 9 times 1 is 9. And now I don't have to reduce my fraction. It's already reduced for me. I do have to change this into a mixed number because it's an improper fraction. My top is bigger than my bottom. So how many 9's go into 70? 9 times 7 is 63. 70 minus 63 would be 7 left over, 7 over 9. So all I did was I said 70 divided by 9. 9 times 7 is 63. Subtract 7 over 9 is my remainder. How many ninths do I have left? I have 7 ninths left. Okay, this one, we're multiplying more than one number at a time here, or more than two numbers, but let's look for places we can cancel. This 5 and this 5 can cancel each other. Those both turn into 1s. And then this 3 and this 6. How many 3's are in 3? 1. How many 3's are in 6? 2. So then when I multiply, it's a lot easier. I don't have to do 21 times 5 times 3. I can do 1 times 1 times 21, which is 21. And then 2 times 23, which would be 6. No. 2 times 2 is 4, 46. So that one's 21 over 46. So much easier when you cancel. Okay, now we have some mixed numbers. So with a mixed numbers, when we're multiplying or dividing, we're always going to have to turn that mixed number into an improper fraction. So to do that, we're going to go from here to here, and we're going to multiply. And then we're going to go from here to here, and we're going to add. Okay, so I'm going to say 2 times 2 is 4, right? And then 4 plus 1 is 5. You leave the bottom the same, 5 over 2. Okay. Then I'm going to multiply that times 3 times 5 would be 15, plus 1 would be 16 over 3. I can reduce right here. How many 2's are in 2? 1. How many 2's are in 8? Or in 16? 8. 8 times 5 is 40. 1 times 3 is 3. That's 40 over 3. Now I have to turn that into a mixed number again. So I'm going to say 40 divided by 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Whoops, did that wrong. 3 times 3 is 9. There we go. Subtract. And I have a remainder of 1, but we don't write it like that. We're going to write it as 1/3. A remainder of 1 what? 1/3. Because we're divided by 3. So that one's 13 and 1/3. Okay, we have another one that's mixed numbers, but this one's dividing, which means that we're going to have to flip that second fraction. First, we have to turn it into improper fractions instead of mixed numbers. So 2 times 12 would be 24, plus 1 would be 25 over 2. Okay, 2 times 6, we multiply here, is 12, plus 1 is 13 over 6. Okay, it's still divided. Now we're going to flip and multiply. So we're going to write 25 over 2 times 6 over 13. Over 13, 12, and 1. Okay. So this would reduce to 1, and that would reduce to, how many 2's are in? 6, 3. 3 times 25 would be 75 over 13. And then if I was to reduce that, let's see, 13, I'm going to say 26, 40, 2. Let's try 4. 3 times 4 is 12. 1 is 4, 5. I think we can go higher than that. Let's try 5. 3 times 5 is 15. 5 times 1 is 5, 6, 65. We'd have 10 left over. So that would be 5 and 10 thirteenths. That's different from the example in the book. This was supposed to be a 3 in the book. That's a 3. But I worked it out for that, what I have written down here. So it's fine. All right, next one. When you see a division bar like this, that means to divide. When things are in a fraction, just divide them. So that really means 3 and 1/3 divided by 2 and 1/5. Just like if you had 6 divided by 2, that really means 6 divided by 2. Okay, so fractions mean divide. All right, so I've got to first change this into a mixed number. So 3 times 3, from a mixed number into an improper fraction. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10 over 3. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11 over 5. That's still dividing. Now I have to flip it. So 10 over 3, then I'm flipping this one. Okay, so that would be 5 over 11. And now we're multiplying. 10 times 5 would be 50. And 11 times 3 would be 33. And that's going to be 1 and 17 over 33. All right, so hopefully that was just review for you guys. You've already done this. Okay, symbols of equality and inequality. This you might not have seen before. So, symbols for equality, we use the equal sign right here to designate that two quantities are equal. Here it is, the equal sign. 5 plus 2 equals 7. Easy peasy. We use the not equal sign. This means not equal to indicate that two equalities are not equal. Right? So right there it is. 5 plus 2 does not equal 11. That's super easy. All right, basic operations. Addition. When we add, we have two add-ins and we come up with a sum. Now you got to remember that because sometimes it'll ask you for the sum. That means you have to add, okay? So plus or add is going to be your sum. Difference. We have a subtraction is a subtrahend and a minuend, and we get a difference. So when they ask you for a difference, you're going to subtract. Multiplication, we have a factor times a factor to get a product. Okay, that means multiply. Multiply could be like that, or it might be a dot. So it might say 3 times 5, or it might say 3 dot 5. That means multiply. Or it might just be in parentheses next to each other. See how there's no sign in between? That means multiply. Or it might be like that. All of those mean multiply. Okay, so you got to be very careful with those. Many different ways to show multiplication. Division, you have a dividend divided by a divisor, which equals a quotient. So if they ask for the quotient, then you're going to divide. Division could be like, let's see, 20 divided by 4, or it could say 20 divided by 4. Okay, so a fraction also means division. All right, so these are division. And these are multiply. Okay. All right, review of operations with decimals. Okay, so how do we do our addition, subtraction, multiplication, division when we have decimals? We already went over fractions, now we're working with decimals. Add this number and this number. So the main thing when we're adding is we got to make sure that we line up our decimals. So I've got 4.0016. I'm going to write that first one first. Then I've got 0.02163. Okay, I've got an empty spot up here. I'm just going to put a 0 in there. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have the same number of spaces. And then I'm just going to add those. 0 plus 3 is 3. 6 and 6 is 12. Carry the 1. 1 and 1 is 2, 3. 2, 0, my decimal point, and my 4. Easy peasy. So all you got to do is, main thing is make sure you're lining those decimals up. Okay, this next one we're going to subtract. I need to subtract that from this one. That means the big one's going to go on top there, the from. Okay, and now I got to line up my decimal point. So I've got 0.0.2163. I don't think I wrote those very straight. 2163. There we go. 6 minus 3 is 3. 1 minus 6, can't do that. Can't borrow from there. Gotta borrow from there. Make that a 10 and a 9. Make that one a 10 and a 9. Now I've got 11 minus 6, which is 5. 9 minus 1, which is 8. 9 minus 2, which is 7. 3 minus 0 is 3. 3, 9, 7. Oh, I wrote that wrong. It's not the same as in the book. I typed my thing in wrong, but that's okay. All right, this one we're going to multiply. Okay, so when we multiply with decimals, it doesn't matter which one we put on top. 4.06 times 0.016. Okay, we're just going to multiply and disregard the decimal point. We'll pretend it's not there. So first I got 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 4 is 24. Okay, then right here I've got 1 times 6 is 6. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 4 is 4. Then I'm going to add these. 6 and 3 is 9. 4 and 0 is 4. 2 is 6. Then I count up my decimal places. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have to start at the bright and go 5 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to add in a 0 and then my decimal. So it's 0.06496 is the answer. Okay, so you count the number of decimal places in both numbers, then start all the way on the right and count left that many places, then put your decimal in. All right, this last one is divide. And I'm running out of room here. Let me try to make some more room. Whoops. Okay, so we're supposed to be dividing 6.039 by, whatever it says by that number, it goes on the outside, 0.03. First thing we have to do is get this decimal point all the way to the right. We want it all the way over here. We're going to count how many decimals we move it. 1, 2. We move 2 there. That means we have to move 2 here. 1, 2, and then bring it straight up. And that's where our decimal goes. Now we just divide like normal. We can disregard these zeros. So how many 3s are in 6? 2 of them. 2 times 3 is 6. That would be a 0. Okay, then we're going to bring down this 3. 3 times 3. How many 3s go into 3? 1. 3 times 3 is, or 1 times 3 is 3. 0. Bring down this 9. How many 3s are in 9? 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, how do we know where each one of these numbers goes? You put it directly above the one that you're dividing. So when we were going into the 6, the 2 went directly above that. When we were going into the 0, it's directly above that. When we went into the 3, directly above that. Then our decimal, then our 9. So 3 ends up there. So 201.3. And like I said, that should be review for you. You should have done this already. All right. Unit multipliers. This is something new. Maybe. If you haven't used Saxon before, this might be new. All right, so use 1 unit multiplier to convert 32 feet to inches. What is a unit multiplier? A unit multiplier is just a fraction made out of 2 things that are equal. So if we have 3 over 3, right, that's the same thing as 1, right? So we can multiply anything times a fraction that's equal to 1 without changing it. So if we have 1 foot over 1 foot, right, that's still just equal to 1. Well, a unit multiplier takes the 2 different measurements and puts them into fraction form. So we can make 2 unit multipliers out of this information. 1 foot is equal to 12 inches, or we can flip it and say 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. Okay? We're supposed to convert 32 feet to inches. So the first thing you do when you come across this is you're going to write your 32 over 1. You're going to put your feet right there. So I have 32 feet, because any number can be put over 1 and it still means the same thing. Now I have to figure out which unit multiplier I'm going to use. I want feet to be on the bottom, because remember, we can cancel things when they're diagonal, and I want feet and feet to cancel. So if it's 1 foot, and then it's 12 inches. So I'm canceling my feet, and now all I have left on the top is 32 times 12, which would be 32 times 12. 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3, add them up, 6, 7, 8, 384. And the only units I have left are inches. See how my feet have canceled each other out? So that makes that inches. On the bottom, I just have 1 times 1, so I don't need that. It's really like that, but that doesn't mean anything, so we'll just write it like that. All right, so that is 32 times 12, 384 inches. All right, let's try another one. Use 1 unit multiplier to convert 36 feet to miles. Okay, and it gives us our conversion for miles right here. All right, so first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to write 36 feet over 1. Now I got to figure out my unit multiplier. I know that I want feet to be on the bottom, so I have 5,280 feet. And then I have 1 mile on the top. All right, so then I can cancel feet and feet. I wonder if this is divisible by 36. Actually, yeah, in the book they make you divide that out. So this is going to equal 36 times 1, which would be 36, and that's miles, over 5,280. Usually you can just leave it like that in the book, but they divided this one out, so they want you to do 36 divided by 5,280. I don't mind if you use a calculator for this. Let's see, it goes 6 times 0 is 0, 6 times 8 is 48, 6 times 2 is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 6 times 5 is 30, 31, oh, I didn't add enough zeros. Anyways, the book tells us that the answer is 0.0068 miles. 0.068 miles. And you can use a calculator to find those. Okay, so if it's big crazy stuff like that, use your calculator. All right, next one. Use 1 unit multiplier to convert 47.25 inches to centimeters. All right, so first thing I got to do is I'm going to write 47.25 inches, and I'm going to put it over 1. Now, I got to convert that to centimeters. I'm going to use the unit multiplier, and I know I need inches on the bottom. So I have 1 inch, so that goes on the bottom, and 2.54 centimeters. All right, so that means I'm just going to multiply. All right, inches cancel my units. I'm going to be left with 47.25 times 2.54. 5 times 4 is 20. 4 times 2 is 8, 9, 10. 7 times 4 is 28, 29. 4 times 4 is 16, 17, 18. Now I'm going to do my 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 2 is 10, 11, 12. 5 times 7 is 35, 36. 5 times 4 is 20, 23. Okay, now I got to do my 2. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4, 5. 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times 4 is 8, 9. Now I add. Need more room. Okay, now I'm going to add them, and I got 0, 5, 9, 10, 11, 6 and 8 is 14, 15 and 5 would make 20. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, now I count my decimal places. 1, 2, 3, 4. Start here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, I ended up with 120.015. Let me see if that's right. Okay, they didn't even multiply it out. So you can leave your answer as times 2.54 centimeters, and that's perfectly fine as an answer. If you went through all the trouble to do it, you can do there. Centimeters, that would be the answer. Okay, so either one of those will be a correct answer. But you can leave it like that so you don't have to multiply it out. In the answer key, it actually looks like the one that wasn't multiplied. Alright, let's try another one. Use 1 unit multiplier to convert 42 meters to centimeters. So I'm going to say 42 meters over 1. Here's my converter. I know that I need meters on the bottom because I need them to cancel. That will be 1 meter. 100 centimeters. Oh, this one's nice and easy. Alright, those units cancel, and I get 42 times 100, which would be 4,200. I don't need that division bar anymore because all I have is ones on the bottom, and my only unit left is centimeters. And that's the answer to that one, 4,200 centimeters. The metric system is so easy. Alright, use 2 unit multipliers to convert 42 feet to centimeters. Okay, so we need 2 unit multipliers. So we've got 42 feet, and we're going to put that over 1. Now, I got to get to centimeters, but I don't know feet to centimeters. I do know feet to inches. I know that there are 12 feet in 1 inch. Okay, and I put my feet on the bottom so they would cancel. Now I know there are 2.54 inches in 1 centimeter. No, 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. I almost did that wrong. 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. There we go. Now I'm all set up to be left with inches. If I cancel my units, I cancel out feet, and then inches cancel inches, and the only unit I have left is centimeters. Okay, and it'll be 42 times 2.54 over 12. Alright, now, did they make you do all of that? Let's see, that was 4.9. Oh, I messed up. I wonder if you guys caught it. Let's start over. Alright. 42 feet. You got to be real careful with these. Over 1. Now, I know I have 12 inches in 1 foot. 1 foot. Can't write. Okay. And I have 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. Okay, I got to be real careful. I need feet on the bottom. So that means I'm going to put 1 foot on the bottom and 12 inches on the top. I swapped that when I did it the last time and it came out wrong. You got to be real careful. Alright, now I need my inches on the bottom, 1 inch, and my centimeters on the top. Now I'm going to cancel my units. And I'm left with 42 times 12 times 2.54, and my only unit left is centimeters. And that's how your answer is going to look on your paper, and that's how it looks in the answer key on the book. You don't even have to multiply all that out. That is a perfectly acceptable answer. Alright, use 2 unit multipliers to convert 4 miles to inches. Okay, so I'm going to have 4 miles, and I'm trying to get to inches. I may have to go look it back in the book. Now, on page 21 of your book is a table of equivalent measures. This is going to tell you all of your unit converters here. So, I've got miles, and I'm trying to get to inches. I can go 1 mile is 5,280 feet. And then I know that I can get from feet to inches. 12 inches equals 1 foot. Okay, now I got to figure out what goes where. I know I'm going to have 2 unit multipliers because it said 2 unit multipliers. I need miles to be on the bottom of this next one. So that would be 1 mile equals 5,280 feet. Okay, now I know if feet's up here, it's going to have to be down here for them to cancel. So that would be 1 foot is 12 inches. Okay, now I can cancel my units. Miles cancels miles, feet cancels feet. I'm left with just inches. And I just put my numbers all in parentheses. 4 times 5,280 times 12 inches. And that's the answer. That's a perfectly acceptable answer. You do not have to multiply it out. Now, don't forget that on page 21 is that chart of equivalent measures. Some of the books, some of the Saxon books have the all the measurements and the formulas that you're going to need printed on the back cover. So if you look at your back cover, you might have it printed there. All right, go ahead and pause the video and do the practice problems, and I'll come back and work them for you. All right, hopefully you guys pause this video and work those practice problems. These should be pretty easy for you. All right, so I'm going to start with A. That's 4.5 times 2 4/5. So first I got to convert this into an improper fraction. So 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9 over 2, times 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 will be 14 over 5. Now we're going to multiply. First I am going to cancel. So that would be a 1, and that would be a 7. 9 times 7 is 63 over 5. Okay, and then 5 times 12 would be 60, so that's going to be 12 3/5. Let me double check in my answer key and make sure I did that right. One second. Lesson 4. Okay, and 12 3/5. Yep. All right, next one, this is a division. First, we're going to change it into an improper fraction. So 3 times 4 plus 1. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13 over 4. And then this one, 8 times 1 is 8, 9, 10, 11 over 8. That's still dividing. We have to flip and multiply now. So 13 over 4 times 8 over 11. I can cancel right here. How many 4s are in 8? 2 of them. How many 4s are in 4? 1 of them. I'm going to have 13 times 2, which would be 26. And 1 times 11 is 11. Let's see, so that's going to be 2. 2 times 11 is 22. And there'll be 4 left over, 4 11s. Right, so the answer to 1 was right there, and then that's the answer to number 2. All right, the next one has us adding these numbers. I'm going to have to write these and make sure that I line up my decimal points. So 47.123, 8.416, and then 705.4. See how my decimals all line up? Now if I need to, I can add these placeholder zeros right here. Now I can add 6 and 3 is 9. 2 and 1 would be 3. 4 and 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Bring down my decimal. 7 and 7 would be 14, so 7 and 8 is 15, plus 5 more would be 20. Here are my 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 760.939, and that is the correct answer. Okay, last one is subtraction. This is 800.62, and we're subtracting 75.88. Okay, we're going to have to do some borrowing. I've made sure my decimals are lined up. So I've got 2 take away 8, can't do that. So I'm going to borrow from over here, and it's going to be 12 take away 8, which would be 4. 8 and 4 is 12. 5 minus 8, can't do that. So I'm going to have to borrow from over here. I'm just going to look at this as 800, and I'm going to take 1 away from 800, and I'm going to get 799. Okay, so now I have 15 minus 8, which would be 7. Now I've got 9 minus 5, which would be 4. 9 minus 7 is 2. 7 minus 0 is 7. So you should have 724.74. All right, there are a couple more. They're on the next slide here. All right, so this one, we're going to be multiplying. So we've got 47.05 times 6.42. Doesn't matter which one we put on top or bottom. 2 times 5 is 10. Carry the 1. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. 2 times 7 is 14. Carry the 1. 2 times 4 is 8, 9. Okay, now I'm going to do the 4. 4 times 5 is 20. Carry the 2. 4 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 4 is 16, 17, 18. Okay, now I'm going to do my 6. 6 times 5 is 30. Make sure I'm in the third row here. See, I'm in the row directly under the 6 when I put that 0. So 6 times 5 is 30. Carry my 3. 6 times 0 is 0, plus 3 would be 3. 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 4 is 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Now I'm going to add these. And that would be 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 and 8 is 20. That would be 10, 12, 8, 9, 10, 3. Now I have to figure out where my decimal point goes. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces in my problem. So if I look back here at it, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to start here and go 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so my answer is going to be 302.061. I don't have to write that last 0. Okay, so that's the answer to that one. The next one is a division. So I'm going to be dividing 4.028. That 0 looks bad. 4.028 by, remember this one is your by, 0.04. Okay, so I'm going to move this decimal over 2, move this decimal over 2, and it's going to go up right there. All right, how many 4s? I can disregard those. Now I can say how many 4s are in 4? 1. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract 0. Bring down my 0. How many 4s are in 0? 0. Bring down my 2. How many 4s are in 2? 0. Bring down my 8. How many 4s are in 28? 7. 7 times 4 is 28. Okay, so my answer is 100.7. Okay, so that's the answer to that one. Now we have 2 unit multiplier problems. The first one says use 2 unit multipliers to convert 75 feet to centimeters. All right, so I have 75 feet over 1. All right, and I need to multiply that by 2 unit multipliers. So I'm going to go from feet to inches and then from inches to centimeters. All right, so I know there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So 1 foot goes on the bottom and 12 inches goes on the top. And then I know there are 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. Now, if you can't remember all of those converters, just look back at that chart on page 21. All right, now my feet and feet cancel, and my inch and inch cancel, and I'm left with 75 times 12 times 2.54 centimeters. And you did not have to multiply all that out. That is the answer. That is in the answer key. Okay, that's all you have to do. This one used 2 unit multipliers to convert 450 inches to miles. So first I'm going to write 450 inches over 1. And I know I can go from inches to feet, and then I can go from feet to miles. So there are 12 inches in 1 foot. I'm going to do 12 inches in 1 foot. Okay. And then there are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. So 5,280 feet for 1 mile. Now I got to double check and make sure all my units are going to cancel. Yep, so inches cancels inches, and feet cancels feet. And on the top, I'm going to have 450. And the bottom of my fraction, I'm going to have 12 times 5,280. And the only unit I have left is miles, so I'm going to write miles right here. And that is the answer that is in the back of the book. You don't have to go any further than that. You don't have to multiply or divide. Okay? It can look like that. Just leave it as a fraction. All right, sorry that video was so long. We did review and cover a bunch of stuff. So hope everything made sense. Thanks for watching. Bye.